Hey everybody, it's Angela Molson352 back with another process video. This is another one of the grandson. I want to get a few of them done here before Christmas because I'm doing the kids' Christmas albums. And so I have this piece of Ellie Studio paper and I'm mounting it on that piece of yellow paper that I've gutted the interior so I could use it as a mat on top. And then I mounted the Ellie Studio paper on it. And then I went through my stash and found a bunch of Ellie Studio like cut apart sheets and stuff like that. And they had, because the paper, I don't know if you can see it or not, has some black stitching at the top, some faux stitching printed on the paper. And a lot of her cut apart embellishment sheets have that same stitching. So I thought it would be some good continuity. And then I also have these that came in a kit that are actually stitched with black thread, and I don't know what collection those originally came from, but they were probably in my Scraptastic or Cocoa Daisy kit. So I have this picture of my stepson and his wife and the new baby getting ready to leave the hospital, and I want to mount it on a little bit of red to bring some of that red from the top of the paper that's pre-printed on there. I wanted to bring it down into the body of the layout. So I just have this scrap of paper. I think I bought a bunch of this red paper, a pack of like 25 for like $2 at Tuesday Morning. So I always have plenty of red to mount photos on. I'm just going to ink up this yellow mat just a little bit and my photo mat. And I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and I decide to put it over toward the right hand side so that kind of all the corners of the papers, the ones that are pre-printed and the ones that I'm making, are all kind of cascading down there toward the left, if that makes sense. And then I want to layer all my banners and stuff kind of over and under the side of the photo here, and just make a large cluster of these little cut apart pieces. So here's some more, some round Ellie Studio, just to, layer another shape in there. And it takes a while for me to fuss through these to get them the way I like. So I go to my tray of cut aparts, looking for more Ellie Studio stuff here or things that are similar. And I have this enamelware tray that my husband got for me at a Goodwill. And it's kind of slightly bowed up in the center of the tray. And as I'm going through these cards and looking for stuff, I'm thinking about the fact that because it's bowed up in the center, this might have been like a dissection tray. You know, like you would dissect your frog or something on, and then the fluids would run around to the edge. I don't know. That's what was going through my mind. I so hope that it wasn't. If it was, I did wash it when I got it. So, yeah. So anyhow, I find a few more pieces here that I can cluster down along the sides. I'm just going to trim those out, and just trying to make this bright and fun and not too girly. As you notice, there's no flowers on this layout. Not that you can't have flowers on boy layouts, but I'm kind of trying to stretch myself to do some different things with these more boy masculine type of layouts. So as much as I love using flowers and doilies and stuff like that, I'm trying to hold back and use some other elements. So I might go through YouTube and look at some other boy layouts and see some other things that people have done. Just to give myself some more ideas as I get into scrapbooking and baby boy. And so I really like that stitched banner, the 3 banners at the bottom, because that kind of finishes off the cluster. And then I kind of like that large craft one kind of in the center there, because it brings that craft color from the background paper into the cluster a little bit. And so that date one that has the faux stitching on it, I put that on top so you can see the faux stitching. And then the pink one didn't have any stitching on it, so I kind of stuck that one under the photo. And there I'm putting the craft piece down. And I like that triangular banner, although the shape of it just really wasn't working in with my cluster very well. So I go back and forth on a couple of these items, just trying to make them work. And there I put down some other ones, so a couple more fishtails, one that's more of an arrow type banner. And I wanted some shorter pieces in there. And then I also wanted to get one of those round ones in. So I kind of like that and because it has the black stitching around it. So I decided to put that one up on foam tape to give a little dimension to the cluster. So it just kind of reads between the wording, you know, between the little sayings. I tried to get another round element in there, but I don't think that one actually stays. Yeah, I think I set that one aside. And then I decide to go ahead and put one of these banner pieces up on foam tape as well. And then I decide to not have both of them, but I like the wording on that second banner. So I take this first one, I put the adhesive protection strip back on it so I can use it for a different one and use this turquoise one that I like the saying to a little bit better. And that just kind of ends the cluster a little higher up and it just looked a little better to me. So I'm kind of liking that. I do want to get this other stitched piece because it does kind of match. It came with the banner piece that had the real stitching on it as well. So I didn't want it to be just loose, one little thing loose in my stash because it may never get used up. So I wanted to get it used up on this. And so I think, okay, now I want another type of material on here besides the paper and the stitching, the real stitching. So I pull out some enamel dots and I'm going through looking. I want some of the yellow, some of the red, and I think I go with some of the teal. And I'm just going to put a few clusters of those, looking for a different yellow one that had, because I only had the 3 kind of larger size ones on that one sheet. So I found one that had some smaller yellow on it. I go ahead and put a second cluster here. And then a third cluster here. And then I do something really crazy. I put a 4th cluster. So I don't have an even or an uneven number of clusters. I have an even number. So hopefully the scrapbooking police won't come after me for putting 4 clusters on there. And so I go ahead and put those away. And then I know I want to do my title on the very right in that open space. So I look for some lettering, and these came in my one of my last kits. And I'm going to make the title Going Home as 3. So they went into the hospital as a couple and they're going home as a family of 3. And I pull these out and put them on the wax paper. And the wax paper is to help you position them. And yeah, so I kind of like, okay, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it here. And then I decide I don't really use the wax paper all that well because I put it down and then I changed my mind. So much for the wax paper helping me. I get through part of it here and then I decide, no, everything's going to be too smushed over to the left. And I keep going. I'm like, yeah, I want this to overlap and touch my embellishment cluster here a little bit. So I keep going down this road and then I just realized that it's going to look too crowded. So I'm like, maybe I need to move this up and cluster it tighter, but that doesn't help. So I moved this around how many times? So the wax paper didn't work for me at all. So I get to here and I'm like, no, I need to move this all out the thing. So I decide to float the title, which is kind of odd for me. Usually I ground it in some way, but I go ahead and just float it out there. So I go ahead and I reposition everything over. And I do finish up, and then after the camera's off, I do add a little puffy sticker right behind the word 3. I think it says like family photo, and it's in a banner shape. And so I put that right next to the 3, and you won't see that on my close-ups here, but you will see it in the still shot at the end. So I'm looking at that, and you know, it's not my normal type of layout. It's a little bit different, but I do like it. It's just something, you know, that'll be different from a lot of my other scrapbook layouts in the book. And I love all the sentiments that I used in the cluster, and just documenting this wonderful moment in their lives where they get to take their little one home with them. So there's the background paper. You can see the faux stitching, and then those arrows, they have real stitching on them. My camera will focus. There we go. And then there's the enamel dots, and then that has faux stitching on it. And then that's real stitching on those 3 little banners. Like I said, I will add a puffy sticker right behind the numeral 3 here at the end. So there's little Mason getting ready to go home. Okay, so that is my layout. If you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment below, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.